We made it through another week, Fire Family. So, welcome back to another episode of Mars Day with Mark, number 63. Oh, we got the candle on the mic today. We lit, fam. And it's good to see your beautiful face. This is the astrology breakdown for the week. And we are starting with August 20th, ending on August 27th. I'm going to tell you guys, this seems like a pretty exciting week, a pretty easy week compared to the week we just had. Things are turning, things are moving. We have a little bit of change, but review is really good. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. In this episode, in this series, really, we review the astrology of the day, and then we go into the future a week, prepare ourselves for the events to come, and get some cosmic perspective. And the chart right now, guys, well, this is 1 week in the future. Let me show you the chart of the moment. This is it right here. And this chart is chop. It's crazy. And I usually push positive content and messages, and I'm always aware of how my expectation does shape and mold my experience. But just to be straight up and honest with you, man, this has been some of the rougher energy for the year. And these transits are not the most gentle, but change is a necessary part of growth that we're all kind of experiencing at this point. So, the beautiful thing is the sun is in Leo at 28 degrees. So we're about to finish this chapter, this season of Leo, and move into the sign of Virgo. The sun is dignified here in the sign of Leo, but I will just say that as far as the transits that we've had during Leo season, I do want to review them very quickly just to kind of show you how Leo has been this year because a year from now, man, Leo is going to be a lot more fun next year, truly. Just take a peek at the year ahead or 1 year in the future. We'll have Saturn in a completely different sign. We'll have Jupiter in a completely different sign. Mars will be in Libra, which I think is pretty snazzy. Like Leo and Libra. If you really, I mean, I know we're kind of in the future a bit, man. But yeah, you'll have Mars and I'm tripping, bro. It's Virgo and Libra. I like skipped Virgo. I'm so sorry, Virgo. I was like, where did Virgo go? It doesn't go Leo, Libra. There's a sign in between. My bad, fam. So anyway, let's get back to the present moment. Where the hell did we go? This is where okay, yeah. So we got fucking Saturn and Pisces. We'll work backwards usually. I need to do something strange for change today, guys. So today we have no, fuck it. Let's go a week in advance and then we'll rewind to the day of the present. So a week from now, guys, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius retrograde at 0 degrees, really, in 5 minutes. So, in September, I'm just forewarning you guys, and not in even a good or a bad way, but especially not a bad way, because this stuff just exists. And it's astrology truly is just a reflection of life. And by analyzing it with a rational mind and an intuitive mind, you can start to interpret higher patterns of meaning. So you have to recognize that you're still in control, even though these orbs are huge and, you may kind of question your existence when you start breaking the mold with astrology. Like, what am I doing? I'm floating on a rock through outer space. It, do I even have control? Am I just at the beck, call, and whim of nature? Yes and no. You have independent will and choice. And that's really what Pluto talks about, not even jumping the gun. Maybe that's the unconscious reason why we started backwards. But, what's last shall be first and what's first shall be last. So, without delineating these too hard, I'm just going to really do the degree breakdown. We're going to have Neptune in Pisces still retrograde at the end of the week. We'll have Uranus direct in Taurus. What am I doing, bro? I have these circles for a reason, the highlight circles. Yeah, if you're watching the video. So there's Uranus in Taurus, 27. We've got Saturn in motherfucking Pisces, retrograde still, 16 degrees. Jupiter is going to be at 18 degrees of Gemini. Mars will be at 25 Gemini. We're going to have Virgo, Venus at 27. And Mercury, Leo, retrograde, I might add, at 1 degree, 21. Bro, Mercury retro just whooped my ass right there, y'all. Mercury's cooked right now, y'all. I'm just going to keep it real. And then we'll have the sun at 5 degrees of Virgo, and we'll have our moon in the first, I should say, the last quarter phase. And I can blame it on Mercury, y'all, but I think I just need to slow the fuck down and I'll stop putting my feet in my mouth. I'll start making more sense. But if we want to rewind to the present moment where I'm starting this video, if you do watch these on Tuesday, we've got Pluto still at 0 degrees of Aquarius, you know? So that's a slow moving planet. Not much is going to change. Uranus barely moves, Neptune barely moves. We've got Saturn at 17 Pisces. So we basically get like 1 degree of movement there for the week. We get like 1 degree out of Jupiter. 17 is where we start. You know, Mars will creep up like 5 degrees. You've got Venus, like she's a heavy hitter, man. She's moving 8 degrees. And you've got Mercury moving back 4. And then, you know, the sun moves 1 degree a day. So we got 7 degrees out of that. So it's like, oh, bro, this shit is like, can this shit go any faster, bro? Like, damn. That's really how I feel about this, man. It's crazy. And I am gonna do you know, I don't usually do this, but just to remind you guys, because last week was crazy too. We had that full moon in Aquarius, square Uranus, and that shook shit up. And I did post a breakdown on how that worked. And if you want to see sign by sign, house through the house, what happens and how that affected us, go ahead and check that out on the channel. So we had that on Sunday or Monday. I'm sorry, it was Monday. We had that full moon. And then we've had these mutable T squares. And let me draw them out for you guys. I can even draw them out from the 20th, from the present moment, this Tuesday. You know, we've got Saturn and God bless Pisces and Venus in Virgo. So that's one opposition. And then if you go out to the right, this mutable T square, you've got all these Gemini planets. You've got Jupiter and you've got Mars. And Jupiter and Mars, we talked about this in the last episode, but oh man, Mars square Jupiter, or I'm sorry, bro, get it. You got this, Mark. You got this. Chill. Just take your time, man. You can do it. With Mars square Saturn, you know, this one does add frustration to our lives because, on one note, we want to really have the control in the forward movement of Mars, but then also the structure and the stability and even the rigidity or the aversion of Saturn. Okay. So sometimes that just feels like being internally inhibited or feeding too much into the fear, worrying too goddamn much. And then Jupiter's up squaring up with Saturn too, man. And this one is a slower moving cycle. So it does talk about, you know, refining more of the structures of our lives on a more idealistic sense. And, you know, that also might look like worrying too fucking much about how you go about your day to day, the things in your schedule, or even your place in the goddamn universe, man. So yeah, Jupiter square Saturn is like something's got to give, something's not working. I need to grow, but I also feel like I need to cut back in some areas, like I'm overextended. So highly uncomfortable fucking energies. And then you've got Venus over here on the other end just saying like it's hard to love anything right now, man. You know, love is very solid, practical, and independent. And that's beautiful on one note because we're probably finding more solace within ourselves, inevitably, or even what is the word, man? It's like it's inevitable, but it's also like kind of presenting itself like the only or best option for some of us, you know? Venus and Saturn kind of makes us feel closed off, or maybe we're afraid of being rejected or disconnected, and that in itself makes us more aloof and by ourselves, man. So, you know, this is really serious for finance, for relationships, for organizing our lives, for just getting things more on track. And you know, Saturn in Pisces, I will say Pisces is ruled by Neptune, guys, and the ancient ruler is Jupiter, so it's basically co-ruled by Neptune. And you know, you can get into semantics about it and argue who gives a fuck who rules it. You know, it's the universe's sign basically. And when a planet goes through Pisces, which you just have to understand, guys, is that this is going to really bring in the elements of our culture and our collective conscious and how we really live out our uh humanitarian instincts at large. Okay, so with Saturn being in Pisces, Saturn also has a lot to say about how we see this damn world and uh how we build within it, how we gain structure, you know, and even it governs our sense of duty and obligation and our authority within our lives. And heavy on that latter part, guys. I will say, you'll see that internally in your abilities to manage yourself and, what your responsibilities happen to be. But also, this Saturn energy talks heavily about the material world and the structures built upon it, and the government and the law and the policies that we really lay out to, construct our actions as a community. So, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces right now, gang, has us way more spiritually inclined. And that, of course, deepens our empathy and connection with each other. And there's a deep need for love and uh, boundless awareness where you need to transcend the self or find ways to give or be charitable or serve this world. But at the same time, with the overabundance of emotion that Pisces gives, with this blendedness and osmosis with the all, we can suffer from an abundance of emotion or just be overwhelmed sometimes, or lost in our thoughts, lost in our beliefs, lost in ourselves with this energy, man. So it's like, on one note, while the age of Aquarius and the information age and technology has gotten us more connected than ever, it's also feeling really disconnected too on some level as well. And I think really highlighted in this transit with the Venus Saturn, a lot of it is about abandonment fears, where people not only fear being rejected, they feel fear having people turn their backs on them. And yeah, relationships are serious, man. And I guess really what the lesson is ultimately, like we started with, is to learn how to find love and value and reliance within oneself. Very Saturn Venus energy. So, you know, uh, I hope you're having a good time, man. I hope you're enjoying your life and recognizing every day, no matter what the energies bring, you have the ability to create something, and you have the ability to choose how you see life, how you respond to it. Okay. So that in itself lies your power to transform. Okay. But I will just say, with this week, this is where we're starting. And this week is going to get a little bit more exciting, guys. This last week was choppy as hell. We do have Mercury retrograde to look out for, but things are moving forward and they're progressing. And I think the most beautiful thing is, let me show you guys today on Tuesday, because bro, my moon is like all Pisces right now. So I hope this really hits as far as it possibly can. Venus, she broke the opposition with Saturn, so that's over. That's going to get easier day by day. And Jupiter just broke the square with Saturn yesterday, and Mars broke it a few days ago. So this T square is separating, and that's a beautiful thing, because man, that shit hurted. That shit was ouch. On top of the full fucking moon that hit right on top of it, this universe has combos, man. And I will just say, watch out for Uranus. This is going to be in a couple weeks, by the way, after the Mercury shadow is over. But we'll have that third Uranus Mercury square coming up at some point. I'll let you guys know. Not this week, but following. But the exciting thing, guys, is we got Leo season for 2 more days. So just remember your beautiful face and know that you're special on some level. And hear it from yourself. It's cool to get it through your speaker, guys, but it's like, look at that. I just dim my own flame somehow. So we got to know how to reignite that shit within ourselves. That's that Leo, that spark of life, that innate joy that life provides us, man. If your life sucks, it unfortunately has everything to do with the way that you're living it. And I say that's unfortunate for some, because the innate responsibility that life comes with is a lot to bear. And some didn't really recognize or have presented to them that is part of this experience, man. And that shit can be crushing and debilitating. And the sun naturally rules Leo. So this energy is all about being able to be our true self and let life exist and flourish to its highest potential. And this is about, that separateness of being that connects to the all, aka you, your being, your body, your life. That's special. Okay. Period. So to love, to appreciate, to indulge in this. And also, like, Leo is going to be weird for the next 20 years. I'm letting you guys know, because of Pluto and Aquarius. This year, this year, it was a weird year for Leo, truly, because not only was Saturn in Pisces, still we had Pluto in Aquarius, and oh shit, we started with Venus and Leo, and then we ended up with Venus in Virgo. But really, the point I was trying to point at beyond it being a weird year, it's really the Pluto and Aquarius, guys, which kind of says like, it says a lot, and it's a 20-year thing. And I said last time, but just keep in mind with Pluto being a multicultural generational sweep, sometimes we don't even know what happens during this transit until the kids born from this transit come of age and start assuming positions of power and authority within this world too. So, a lot of this is speculation or just prophecy. But basically, Pluto in Aquarius kind of feels like death to the individual. That's how I'm perceiving it. There's so many interpretations, and yours is as good as my own, by the way. But I see that, with the consciousness rising linear, basically, or even exponentially, just on an upward trajectory is probably the best way to say it, which will eventually become exponential with our technology and the way that we can travel easier and easier and calculate more and more. So this world is globalizing. We're learning more about, you know, a collective identity on some level, trying to elevate the human race. There's a lot of global conflict breaking out on the planet as well. That's political in nature. So freedom in general kind of seems to be a pressing theme in our culture and within the world, like the backbone structure of raw life right now, like the life or death issue, basically, Pluto. It seems to be about freedom right now. Freedom of a whole lot of things, man. Not just your right to communicate and speak and travel, to practice your religion, or, just not to have tyranny in your government, to be able to do what you want or go wherever you want. That's really what it is. Human rights violations is something that Pluto in Aquarius is going to highlight as well. And when I started this, man, I said death to the individual, but I really meant that on like a symbolic, more esoteric level, in the sense that, this makes it harder for us to be ourselves because we're also accelerating at such a rapid rate and we have so much more access to information, and the times are changing, and the technology is evolving our world so fast, it can make us kind of feel out of place or disconnected from the world in general, or maybe the overstimulation has it harder for us to know ourselves. But on the same spectrum of thought with the polarity, I will just say that now more than ever is the time where we send power to the individual as well. And you will see that on some levels, this kind of feels like that Charles Dickens book, bro. It's the best of times and the worst of times. And on one level, we may be seeing more oppression and confusion on a global level than ever before. But on some level, we're also experiencing more freedoms and more sovereignty and ability to express ourselves now than more than ever. You guys know you could be hung on the cross or burned alive for being a witch before. Like practicing my beliefs could have got me killed a couple generations ago. And that's insane just to think about, just for one example. So there's a lot that really this Pluto Aquarius talks about, guys. And just to keep things in a broad perspective, like it is the robot revolution, and it is going to be, rapid acceleration of technology within this next 20 years. And I don't have to be the one to tell you that, but I'm just keeping it in perspective for this week, guys, because, that's cool, but we really got a fun, sexy week ahead of us, man. So I'm just taking you through like the utter darkness, and we can build a cool reality from it. I want to say lock in is kind of the message of the week, guys, because while we have, 2 more days of Leo, which really does talk about, your unique personal expression and experience, aka live your life to the fullest, honey boo boo child, have a good ass time. I love you. You're special. Make sure you say that shit to yourself in the mirror with your chest and be like, hey, uh, Tabitha or James or Nico, I love your beautiful face. How did you get so beautiful? And pose that question at yourself, man. And your heart will start to seek that answer, and you'll start to, put love spells on yourself in the mirror, love yourself, but build up your strength, build up your confidence, sit up straight, have good posture, Leo energy. Okay. But in 2 days, we've got the damn sun moving into the tropical Virgo. So shout out my Virgos, shout out my lovers, shout out. Do I have any Virgo friends? I got some Virgo rising friends. Shout out Adam. Shout out. Shout out. The list of Virgos is endless. And after I do like shout outs to specific people, man, I always feel like, why didn't I shout out this person? They're like my favorite Virgo. But it doesn't matter. Those are the important ones. Shout out to my team. Shout out to me, my Virgo rising ass. Shout out to you if you happen to be a Virgo. The point being, guys, damn, Virgos are lit. And we're all going to experience this energy for about 30 days, starting with the 22nd of August. And this totally changes the season. And this is the end of summer. So it's kind of like harvest time. It's time to put in the work, time to focus, time to get that shit done, time to reap the rewards. Enjoy the summer too, guys. If you happen to be in the hemisphere where it's summer, if not, it's going to be some winter for you. But regardless, Virgo offers a more specific and procedural and non-emotional approach towards, life and processes and applications. So I will just say that this season will heavily revolve around the service that we provide to the world and how we relate to ourselves and how we work on ourselves. So self improvement can be a high focus, or just productivity and yield can also be a central theme for this month. And you will want to look to the house that you have Virgo in within your chart, so you know what part of your life is highlighted. Like, for example, me being a Virgo rising, that puts Virgo in the first. So that's just going to say that it's time for my glow up, and I'm going to have an even better fucking time. And I'm going to feel like life and art imitate me, because the universe revolves around me with the sun in the first house. It's like Leo season part 2 for me. So, lucky ducks if you happen to be a Virgo sun or rising. What about the moon, Mark? Fuck the Virgo moons. I'm playing. I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I'm so sorry. That's fucked up, dude. We love the Virgo moons. So what's he saying fuck me for, man? I didn't do anything. And that's really how it is, man. A lot of Virgo. I was giving a reading to a Virgo the other day, man, and talking about like the psychological implication in depth. And I'm just gonna walk you through the thought, man, before the punchline. But basically, Virgo people, they really do, think about the sun giving a sense of pride or joy or even centeredness to our being. When we have a sun in Virgo, you're gonna take a lot of pride in the work that you do, or the specificity or consistency that you can really experience within your own endeavors. And you like correctness and flow and confluence. And, you know, um, this just says that integrity is a thing that really matters for these people on a character level. So they always, I would say at best, most Virgos are going to seek to do the right thing almost always. And they've got this calculating, precise mind that wants to, do right also by the logic of their merits, and that's really beautiful. But on some time, that makes these people highly affected, highly effective people. I said affected at first on accident, highly effective people. And at worst, that just makes them question everything or think too motherfucking much, or just feel like they've got to fix themselves, or they're worried about nothing, or just feeling guilty for nothing at all. And that shit's a trip, man. Because when you derive so much achievement or satisfaction and joy from being able to improve something when there's nothing to improve, sometimes you may kind of feel this feeling of despondency, or like a lack, or if you derive so much of your self-esteem from productivity when there's nothing to produce, rest might actually bring you a sense of trepidation too sometimes, man, because you're patterned and conditioned to give and to serve. And these people, I will just say, if you know a Virgo, you're gonna see that they really do feel at their best when they're helping people. Virgos are beautiful, amazing people, man. So give some love to the Virgos, and we definitely will over this month with their birthdays coming up. So it's a beautiful Virgo week, and shout out to the Virgos when we start on Thursday. So cool shit, man. I like this week ahead, starting with Leo and then moving into Virgo. And then on the 27th, next Tuesday, we'll be 5 degrees into Virgo. And as far as the moon goes, guys, let's get into it now. This has been kind of an unorthodox way to do this. I usually have some form of structure, and we've kind of broken it all. So big ass break of structure. Who gives a damn? Fuck it, dude. Apparently there are no rules here. So I guess, it is what it is. So we start with this moon in Pisces, hitting this fucking T square after the full moon. I hope you guys are okay, because this shit feels like everybody in the world may need a hug, or maybe I need everyone in the world to hug me. It may be part of both, to be honest. But you got the moon moving through Pisces. We're rolling in the deep. So what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that moon in Pisces. That shit is crazy. The moon in Pisces is like, I think there's a whole ocean inside of me, And this also is just exaggerated, inflated emotions and, relating to the world through our imagination and dreams and illusions. So you could be the most highly connected, integrated, or transcended, but on that transcended note, it could also be like kind of feeling alone or choppy or lost at sea. And what was me, self-pitying energy. Damn, I just blew out the candle again. I mean, but that was synchronicity straight up with the moon smacking on Saturn. Fuck, dude. And then it'll cross over Saturn. On Wednesday, we'll have this moon still going through Pisces. It'll eventually cross Neptune. But as the moon crosses Neptune, on Wednesday, it'll eventually move its way into Aries. So happy lunar birthday to the Aries moons. So that tells me that, Thursday, we'll have that moon in Aries, wake up feeling fresh and excited with the moon on the north node. We're thinking about purpose and moving forward. And the moon is opposite Lilith. So it might be a shadow work day. We might be confronting deep emotions, as we're moving the sun into the Virgo, which is kind of crazy. We're getting a more deep look at ourselves, and the moon is also going to bring up some hidden emotions too. And then, the moon is going to cross Chiron on Friday. Yeah, the moon crosses Chiron on Friday, guys. Get excited. And that's just about healing our hearts. And that's the day of love. That's Venus Day. So, what a beautiful day to heal our hearts. And meanwhile, what's beautiful about Venus Day, I'm gonna just call it to you right now, guys, so we can kind of like keep it consistent. Mercury retrograde is chopped all week, fam. So just slow down, don't drive fast. Take your time communicating so you can make things make sense. And with this Leo Mercury, it really does emphasize working on personal communication skills and beyond slowing down, speaking up with conviction and authority can really help you with your sense of timing and resonance with people. All right. So, boom, boom, boom. But check out Venus, gang, because Venus has been having this time of her life in Virgo where she's like, fuck, I don't want to go to work, man. Damn. Do I really have to? Yeah, I guess so. Responsibility is the virtue that we're aiming for with Venus. And that's Kabbalistic, guys. I'm gonna tell you guys the virtue of Venus is responsibility. The vision is beauty, the vision is love, connection, relationship. But we have to have prudence, be responsible, and practice chastity, which basically means selflessness, not being too selfish. Okay. And we got Mars and Venus squaring up this week, which is actually a really beautiful time because these are the romantics kind of coming together in a really powerful way, which will just say that, a lot of us are going to have our hearts burning for love this week, which is a beautiful, amazing thing. And even people who are celibate and just not even worried about love, this will kind of reignite that passion, just as an example. There's many ways people relate to this. You know, People who are partnered, they may experience their romance deepening and accentuating, but this can also be the source of conflicts within relationships as well. Because on one level, we've got Venus pulling in the direction of, work and stabilization and optimization. And then you got Mars pulling in the other direction of variety, spontaneity, and, almost, I want to say impulse, basically, with this being Gemini. So on some level, this calls for relationships to have more freedom, to have more passion, for people to be able to express their true selves a little bit more within these dynamics. Saturn is still loosely opposite this planet, or Venus is, I should say, is still loosely opposite Saturn. And that's just going to say that again, we're looking for things that are tangible and real within our love lives, or within even our personal financial lives, guys. That's another Venus thing I just want to highlight. So I would say that this has a lot to do with affording yourself the ability to pursue your passions. So that might look like, for instance, saving money, taking out money from a certain bank account and putting it into a different bank account, or starting like a travel fund, or a charity fund, or a business fund, or an investment fund, or pardon me, like money to take singing classes or something like that, whatever it is you're passionate about. But it could also be on that same energy, you know conversations within a relationship that really allow people to express their true self and, redefining purpose and getting more. The most beautiful thing I see with this thing, and I've been thinking about this like for weeks coming up, but Venus Mars square just says the power of intentional relationships. So if we can really align with others in a way that's congruent, we can experience symbiosis, and the joining of two energies can be truly more important and impactful than the sum of the parts. You hear me? But at the same time, while a relationship can actually inspire and provide a tremendous sense of purpose, we must be careful that we don't derive our true purpose or feel that our true purpose is a relationship, because that ends up being martyrdom, basically. And I don't think I gotta fill in the gaps. You should be intuitive enough and be able to use enough imagination to see that pretty quickly, you know. Jesus Christ. So love is exciting. Creative juices are gonna be flowing, man. That shit like made me cringe low key. Like, why do they call it creative juices, bro? That's weird as fuck, man. Like the Virgo part of me just cringed, man. I like putting the candle on the mic, but I felt when I started the video that I would be speaking the candle out quite a bit, Fire Family. So it was cool. The Mercury retrograde got me experimenting and trying different things, and maybe that wasn't the way, but we did give it a go. So that was cool. What else we got to talk about, man? We're on Friday. Let me just move the chart forward, guys, and show you kind of how we're moving. Because apart from that, guys, we still got Mars and Jupiter and Gemini, and I'm fucking tired of talking about this shit for real. I'm over it. But can it go any faster? And then the universe is like, bro, this is as fast as it goes. What do you mean? Like, we're maxing out our RPMs. And I'm just like, damn, this shit is slow. Bro, says you're lying to me, man. We need to put the boosters on or like overclock this bitch. Like shit. Saturday is a moon and Taurus day. So get excited, with the moon going home. Yeah, Friday night, the moon will really creep into Taurus, but we'll wake up with the moon in Taurus, trying the sun, feeling ourselves, having a good ass Saturday. Oh, yay, enjoying the work we put in through the week and probably working even harder because it's Saturday and we working on weekends. We're putting in the time. It's okay to rest, but you should have rested while it was nighttime, jabroni. Get the fuck up and work and get your ass up and hustle and get to the work, man, because responsibility takes no days off. Fuck yeah. So Saturn energy, moon and Taurus. Boom, boom, boom. And it's gonna be a good Taurus moon day with the lovers still square. And then Sunday, we're still looking at a moon Taurus day. But I will say that this moon will square Mercury and it will approach Uranus. So Sunday, you know, variety is really the key, and fluidity and flexibility. Because on one note, the moon Mercury can make us, you know, easily distracted. It can make us very open-minded, but also it can make us super sensitive, oversensitive to the environment and make us want to make excessive change or worry too much. So, this week, I will say, with us still kind of breaking out of these squares and Mercury being retrograde, this is a good week for nervous cleaning, guys. I will say that. If you're stressed out, man, you move your furniture around and clean under the furniture and throw shit away and, reduce, reduce, reduce. So Sunday night, we're moving into the Gemini moon and so much air. Oh, wow. So for me personally, guys, I'm going to tell you what works for me quite often, but this also kind of feels like a reflection in the sky of what I do is that, around Sunday night, which is like the start of the week for a lot of people, we'll have this Gemini moon. And the Gemini is really all about, thinking and communicating. And it'd be a good idea, perhaps, if you took some time before your week started and really just planned out your week and set some targets for the week and thought about some objectives and wrote them down and put some pen to paper so you have a sense of direction. And, write your goals in stone, put your plans in the sand because nobody can reliably predict the future. I'm an astrologer telling you that shit. You feel me? I'm saying reliably. Even the best predictive astrologers, have to reserve the right to be wrong, man. I'm telling you. The only way to predict the future reliably is to create it for yourself. And this causal world of effects is interpenetrated by higher forces. So, that line between fate and free will is blurry sometimes, but I would say most of the time it's like 80% free will, 20% fate. You know, I would assume control, I would assume responsibility if I were you. You know, I hope that empowers you, Jabroni. Fire family, do we need another name? Because like I don't know if is jabroni the right word for my bro. Don't make me give y'all a cornier name. My flames. Okay, that was it. That made it rhyme with names, but y'all are my flames. That's exactly right. It only took me about 0.3 seconds to come up with that shit. Fuck yeah. I figured it out as I asked the question. I'm like that, bro. I'm really him. Okay, and then where the moon basically winds up, you should already see this, man. It's like, every week we basically move a square with the moon. So if we start with Pisces, we're basically going to end up on Gemini. So I will just say, go with the flow this week. And I really think that the basic theme of this week is beyond going with the flow, organization. Okay. And this could be about setting new goals. All that self love and self development and work that you did in the Leo season, it must continue. Let me be very clear about that as well, gang. I'm going to pull the chart down or get rid of the chart so I can look you in the windows to your soul fire family, my flame, my. Okay. I'm going to just give it to you next time because the intrusive thoughts, man. I'll come up with dumber names in the future. But basically, all that fun you had in this last month, all that connection you built with yourself, the reassurance, the growth, you got to keep putting in the work. Put the cruise control on, man. Make that your new normal. And let's build upon those gains and keep fucking sending it. Okay. And keep the momentum pushing. And I think with all this mutable energy, it's easy to be a little overwhelmed, especially with Mercury fucking up, being kind of debilitated while we start Virgo. You know, increase your standards. It's the only way to grow. So you don't want to set your standards or target so fucking high that you're going to fail before you even begin. Plan time realistically, guys. And think about your responsibilities, think about your boundaries, and then really just work on gently extending them. The principle is to lean out of your edge, to get comfortable being slightly uncomfortable, okay? And then when you approach growth willfully, without it being forced upon you, you actually get a sense of freedom, a sense of agency, and the pride of your responsibilities. And I'm telling you guys, on some level, self love can only be bought with action. Okay. And that's what Virgo is really going to be showing us this week. So I love you, Fire Fam, my flame, my slames. That's fucked up. I was saying I was going to wait for it. It's like my slime, but my flame, my slames. LeBron James. I love you, man. And I hope that you love yourself too, because the more you love you, the more you love me. And my Leo ass, selfish ass could always use some more love, man. The higher this collective vibration goes. So before I sign off and leave you my peace, blessed be, let's see the world at peace. Pretend that this was the world and just imagine all the people living in harmony. And if we could breathe that breath into existence collectively, we could experience a great release in the divine mind, divine time. Take care.